You're listening to Titans of the Trades. I'm your host, Ryan Englin, author of Hire Better People Faster and creator of the CoreFit hiring system, a proven process to help growing companies attract and retain only the best. I'm on a mission to revolutionize the perception of the trades and elevate it to new heights. After growing up in a blue-collar family, my passion for making the trades cool again runs deep. If you're a Titan in the industry and want to be on my show, stick around until the end and I'll reveal how you can be my next guest. Welcome back to another episode. This is a special episode today. Titans of the Trades celebrating our 100th episode. Can you believe it? 100 episodes. We've achieved something that so few podcasts can achieve. And it has been an amazing journey. In fact, today's episode is a solo episode. No guests today because actually we've got a bunch of guests lined up. We're going to throw back to the last 99 episodes where we've uncovered some of the best insights on what it takes to be an employer of choice in the trades so that people want to work for you and people want to stay working for you. It's no secret there's a labor crisis right now, and it is such a challenge for so many contractors to find great people, to attract great people, to keep great people, to get great people to show up and produce every single day. And over the last 99 episodes, I have interviewed some of the most amazing people who are not only making it happen, but give you the tips, the tricks, the insider secrets so you can do it yourself. So here's what we're going to do. I want to introduce to you today what I am now defining as the choice framework. Being an employer of choice is something that so many companies strive for. But you know what I found in my research and after interviewing so many guests? Nobody's got a definition for what being an employer of choice means. Well, we're going to fix that today. And I already said it. I'm going to say it again. Being an employer of choice is being a place where people want to work and where they want to stay. It's that simple. But how do you do it? Well, we're going to listen to some past guests today. I'm going to share some inside secrets. And then I've got a great surprise for you at the end of this. We're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to mix things up a little bit. I'm super excited about it. Here's what I want you to do. Get ready to take some notes. Now, if you've been listening for a long time, you're going to recognize some of these guests, and that's okay. But if you haven't, I encourage you to go back and listen to their full episodes because it is an amazing wealth of knowledge. All right, here we go. Let's jump in. We're going way back. Episode number 1. Can you believe it? The first guest that we had on the show was Adam Witty. He's the CEO of Forbes Books. If you haven't heard of Forbes before, just go Google it. They're amazing. And they produce a ton of great business books. And I had him on episode 1. And you know, one of the things about meeting Adam, it was one of those, I got a little starstruck moments because here we have the CEO of Forbes Books, someone who I've known about for a while on the show, sharing what he's learned about company culture. And, you know, I told you we're going to go through the choice framework right now. And so C, if you think about choice, we're going to put together some words here and some ideas for each letter in the word choice. Here's what I learned. C is having clear vision, values, and purpose. Now, if you've ever listened to me speak before, you know how critical that is to having a great organization, because if people aren't aligned with who you are, how you behave, where you're going, it's going to be really difficult to not only keep them, but more important, attract them. And Adam Witty, he said this thing, culture is either by design or by default. And I love it because it is so true. You are either intentional about creating a culture or culture will happen to you and your people will do it for you. And culture is so important. You know, when you have values-driven hiring, it leads to a stronger culture, better retention. And then fast forward to episode 73, and I interviewed Jim Bush. He's the founder of Weather Shield Roofing, an organization that has almost tripled in size since him and I met. And a lot of it has to do with what they are doing to create a great workplace. In fact, he said a great workplace adds to employees' lives, not just their wallets. Oh, there is so much truth in that. People do not wake up and come to work for you because they want to work for you. They wake up and they come to work for you because they're aligned on purpose, because they're excited about what it's doing for them personally. And in Jim's episode, we dig deep into that. He's working on so much over there, and he spilled so many great nuggets of wisdom. So if you haven't checked it out, episode 73, check out Jim Bush. Now, here's what I want to do. As I share with you each one of these actionable things, everything that we've learned over the last 100 episodes, I want to give you some tips. So if you don't have a pen and paper, or if you're behind that windshield that we all know too well, when you get back to your desk, sit down, take some notes, because I'm going to give you some of the best actionable tips that we found over the last 100 episodes. Here's it is. Clear vision, values, and purpose. Create a values scorecard. Evaluate new hires and current employees. You know, we're focused on the things that we can control when it comes to a scorecard. We look at how well someone is skilled, how they're leveling up, how their performance is. But there's always something that we can't quite figure out. There's something that's missing. And when we sit down and we look and we dig deep, we often find that they're behaving in a way that does not work for our company. They're misaligned on our values. And if you are intentional about creating a strong culture and you've got very clear values and you are holding people accountable to them, it can transform your business. And that's what we talked about with Adam. That's what we talked about with Jim and so many other guests. Those are just two. So create a values scorecard, a way for you to say, hey, do they align with how we behave? Yes or no? And then have that conversation. Here's what I want to do now. I'm going to throw back to episode number 1, where I was interviewing Adam Witty, and we discussed intentional culture building. So I just want to give you a little clip to let this sink in a little bit more. And then remember, when you're creating clear vision, values, and purpose, create a values scorecard to evaluate not only the new people coming in, but your existing people as well. All right, let's hear from Adam.
Last thing that I would share in terms of top fallacies is that this idea that culture just naturally is created. A mentor of mine once said, your culture is either by design or by default. And, you know, I think of some of the companies that I love and I think have great cultures. One of them is Chick-fil-A. They also have great chicken sandwiches. Another is Southwest Airlines. And when I think of those two businesses, the ownership and the leadership is very intentional of this is what Southwest is and this is what Southwest isn't. And we know the type of person we're attracting. And never forget that the first 4 letters in culture are cult. And yes, you are creating a bit of a cult to create a really great culture. And, you know, just thinking that a great culture is going to just magically bubble up if you just let it take its shape, I think that's a pretty big fallacy too.
Such good stuff. Such good stuff. I loved having Adam on the show. So great. In fact, him and I got to meet in person. He was out in the Nashville area. We got to have coffee together. It was fantastic. So let's move on. H. We've got C, clear values, vision, and purpose. Now let's move to H, high trust leadership. It's not enough just to be strong leaders anymore. If you want to be the employer of choice and you want people to pursue you, to go after your company and say, I want to work here. Not only do you have to have strong leaders, but your team has to trust them. When you have high trust from the people on your team, they will follow you anywhere. And it was back in episode 77, not that long ago, although it was a long time ago, where I got to sit down with Matt Ebert, the CEO of Crash Champions, the largest collision repair center in the United States. I mean, this is like a $3 billion company. Like, he's not messing around. And his story of how he went from just one shop to building it to, I think they're like 700 shops now. Like, it's insane what he did. In order to do that, you have to be attracting great people, and those great people have to be staying. You cannot scale an organization that fast, that large without it. He said scaling requires trusting your team with decisions. That not only means that he has to be able to trust his team, but they have to trust that when they make that decision, whether it's good or bad, they can trust that he'll be there to support them. Because micromanaging kills trust and engagement. If you ask somebody to do something and they don't do it right, and then you micromanage them, you come down on them, they're done. It's not going to work long term. But when you empower leaders at every level, it leads to faster growth, better decision making. And it's so critical. It's something I've learned over the last 100 episodes. And the work that we do over at Core Matters. If your people do not trust your leaders, if they do not trust their supervisor, they're not going to want to stay. I interviewed Chad Prinky back episode 87. He's the CEO of Well Built Consulting. Your team needs to be a part of the solution, not just following orders. You have to be able to trust them, but you have to bring them in, and they will want to be there when they trust you. So here's what I want you to do. Here's an actionable tip from those interviews, but also what we've learned and what we've seen work over all these years. I want you to implement quarterly leadership check-ins to ensure that your managers feel empowered, to know that they can trust you when they go and make decisions, even if they don't make the right ones. Or that they can trust you to come to you and say, hey, boss, I don't know. I'm not sure what I'm doing. And you're not going to come down on them or think, oh my gosh, why is he so incompetent? Why doesn't he make this work? When you have trust on your team, especially amongst your leaders, magic happens. And Matt wouldn't have been able to do what he did. Chad wouldn't be able to support the teams that he supports if trust wasn't the foundation for which large organizations are built. Here's what I want to do. I want to throw back to a clip from Matt's episode, talking about trusting managers to lead. Trusting them. As the owner of the company, do you trust your people to lead or not? Let's throw back to Matt real quick. Let's see what he's got to say on the subject. And if you haven't checked out Matt or Chad's episodes, we're going to have them in the show notes. You can go back, link to those, and check them out.
You've grown from one location, 8 locations, to 650 locations. What are you doing over there at Crash Champions that's making you the employer of choice? It's getting people to raise their hand and say, I want to be on your team.
Yeah, so our first concentration is our leadership. We've concentrated on the leadership because ultimately we all know that people's happiness at work depends greatly upon who they report to. So their immediate boss is really important in their employee experience. We're at a size now where they might not even ever get to meet me. So whether they like or hate Crash Champions has a lot to do with their immediate boss. So we've really keyed in on that part of it, knowing that the employee experience comes greatly from the person they report to.
This is such great stuff. It is so fun preparing for this episode, going back and being able to throw back to some of our past guests. So much knowledge, so much gold in these clips. All right, let's move to O. In the choice framework. This is one that if you're in construction, if you're in the trades, you know about this one. But I think we've lost sight of it over the last couple of decades. It's coming back, and I'm super excited about that. O is giving the opportunity for growth and a career path. I think it was in the trades is where the apprenticeship program, that's how we taught the next generation. They come work alongside somebody. And it's been that way since we were training people how to do these things. And for the longest time, the industry was synonymous with the apprenticeship program. But somewhere along the lines, we lost sight of that. And when you give someone a future, when they can see a future at your company, they will stay longer. Employees will be more engaged when they go, I know where I'm going and I see myself there. We talked about vision, having a clear vision for the company. Well, imagine that people not only saw themselves part of your vision, but they saw what it meant to them and they had a future for themselves. When you have internal training programs, you create more skilled, loyal employees than when you hire externally. There's a movement inside the trades right now that says, start hiring for behavior, for mindset. Hire for the things you can't teach. Teach them the rest. If you want great people, stop worrying about getting a 5 or a 10 or a 20-year veteran. Start finding someone who's got the raw materials to really make it happen, that is incredibly engaged. Richard Hart with Hart Services back in episode 60, he said training from within not only fills roles, but it elevates the profession. Think about that for a second. We are creating new technicians, new craft workers, new people that are amazing at doing this work. And yeah, they might not all stay with you. But when they go out and they go to work for someone else, the whole profession raises. I love that. Jennifer Wilkerson, I love her so much with the NCCER. She's the VP of Innovations and Advancements. And oh my gosh, if you are not connected with her, she is someone you need to be connected with. And if you don't know about the NCCER, you need to check it out. It's all about education in the construction industry. Back in episode 16, she said, if you want people to stay, show them a future. Training isn't a cost, it's an investment in retention. Oh, such good stuff. We all train our people. They come in, they're brand new. We train them how to do it our way. But what if we said, we're willing to take somebody brand new to the industry that has no skills and train them and invest in them over a couple of years. I know some of you might be thinking, I don't have time for that. I just need skilled people. Well, my question is, how are those skilled people working out? Are you finding enough of them? Because if not, you have to give people an opportunity for growth. You have to show them a career path. You have to be willing to take someone who's never been in the industry and develop them. So here's what I want you to do. Here's the actionable tip for today. Build a career progression plan and communicate it clearly. You've got no skills. Here's what you're going to do. Step 1, we're going to train you a little bit, and then we're going to send you off to do this work. Step 2. And then after we've done that, we're going to get you some more skills. Step 3, show them how you can help them build a career. And most importantly, this is where we all miss it. I've talked to so many leaders we've got the most amazing training program that no one knows about. Communicate it clearly to all of your employees, both internal and even future employees. Communicate it externally as well. So here's what I would do. I want you to hear from Jennifer Wilkerson. She discusses how structured career paths, workforce development programs help attract and retain younger workers in the trades. Oh my gosh, that key word younger. If you don't know, we're in for a world of hurt once all of these boomers are retired. It's going to, 40% of the industry is going to retire in the next decade. Are you ready for that? Let's start training this next generation. All right, let's hear from Jennifer.
You know what happens when you go into construction? You can pay for college without taking out a loan. That's what happens.
Yeah.
We talk about this all the time. What industry can you legitimately go from your tools to owning your own business? I mean, there's a lot of great things out there, but guess what? You might start as a nurse. You're not going to own the hospital. You might start on a conveyor belt. You're not going to own the plant. You can in construction. You can legitimately start on your tools and you can own that business, and you can take lots of business classes and go to college and get an MBA or go into a different field I think people have a really narrow vision of what construction is, and they don't think about the construction management and the architecture and the engineering.
What a great nugget from Jennifer. Oh my gosh. Taking someone and showing them a career path, not only to being an amazing leader inside your organization, but even being able to control their own destiny, own their own business. Now, I know what you're thinking. Well, I don't want to train somebody and have them become my competition. And I will tell you that the majority of time when you train people like that and you have that mindset, they are going to become the next leader of your organization, because they are going to find out that there is so much about business that they don't want to do. They just want to build really cool stuff. All right, let's move to I, industry leading growth and reputation. Industry leading growth and reputation. If you've probably heard this before, if your company is not growing, it is dying. If you do not have a reputation in the industry as being a leader, it is going to be very difficult for you to find or even attract the best people. You see, when companies have a strong brand, a strong reputation, they're well known in their area and in the industry, they attract top talent. When people start thinking, I need a new job, they think, I want to go there. If you do not have that strong reputation, that strong brand, they will never find you. And if they do, will they be excited about what they see? You know, I interviewed Josh Zolan, the CEO of WCE. They do commercial refrigeration service. Back in episode 17, he said the trades don't have a hiring problem. They have a storytelling problem. Change the narrative and you will change the industry. Oh, there is so much truth in that. We do not have a hiring problem. I absolutely agree. We have a reputation issue. The industry has a reputation issue. There is an entire generation of workers out there, parents of young kids that are going into the workplace that say, no self-respecting kid of mine is going to go into the trades. They're going to go get a college degree. They're going to go get a knowledge worker job. That is a reputation issue. We need to change the narrative and we will change the industry. You know, I finally got to interview Roger Wakefield. And if you don't know who Roger Wakefield is, and you are in the trades at all, I know he's a plumber. But everything he teaches about the trades, about growing people in the trades, about training people, about running a business, it transfers to all of it. If you were a contractor, you need to know Roger Wakefield. I think he has the most subscribers on YouTube of any plumbing influencer. He's amazing. Back in episode 93, he said, telling a better story about the trades makes people proud to be a part of them. We have to start thinking differently about our reputation, about the industry's reputation. Social media today and storytelling, they shape industry perception. And they either make the trades appealing or they don't. So what story are we telling? Here's your tip. Start an employee spotlight series on social media to showcase your company's culture. You might be thinking employee spotlight. Let's just call it employee testimonials. Start easy. Go get a testimonial about one of your long-term employees, why they love to be a part of your team, what is happening inside of your organization, and what's the benefit to them. And then share that everywhere. It is amazing what an employee testimonial can do to help with your company's reputation, but also put a bigger spotlight on how amazing the trades are for young workers to go to. Like Jennifer said, where else can you get this kind of education without debt, without paying for it? You can't. All right, I want to throw to a clip from Roger back at episode 93 about using social media to attract young talent.
I tell people, imagine driving down the road, throwing $47,000 cash out the window
And knowing when you get to your office, the phone's not going to be ringing.
Oh, no.
That's tough to overcome.
Yeah.
So I decided I was going to do something about it. I learned social media, and I'm at a conference. I'm going to learn social media, which at the age of 54, you think is Facebook. And I walked into a room and learned about YouTube, and it literally blew my mind. And a month later, we started YouTube. That was just over 6 years ago. And now we're coming up on 650,000 subscribers on YouTube, almost another 600,000 on TikTok, another 100,000 or so on Instagram. But we've covered the social media platforms pretty well. I'm hardly ever on Facebook now, but
Yeah.
literally when I went to this conference, that's what I'm thinking. How do I use Facebook to grow my business? And, and I want your viewers to think about this, because the entrepreneurs, the company owners, even the guys thinking about opening a company one day, what I heard at that conference, the guy literally walked out on stage and he said, YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world. And Ryan, I shut my notebook. I thought, this guy's stupid. He doesn't know anything about what he's talking about. I put my hand on the chair next to me and I raise up and I'm turning around to get up and walk out. And the entire back of the room is standing room only. And real quick, my plumber brain said, hey, he may know something here. There may be something to this. And I sat back down, I looked up at him, and the next words he said were, and it's owned by Google, the largest search engine in the world. And immediately I thought, wait, we're just throwing money at Google. Why aren't we throwing any money at YouTube? Little did I know that within just a couple of years, Google, who owns YouTube, would be throwing money at me. So I'm like, okay, this turned out to be a pretty good deal. Well, the truth is, I don't care if you get 1 million people on my website and they stay for an hour each. If they don't call my office, if they don't pick up the phone and reach out to me, it doesn't matter what you do.
Yeah.
And that's something I think most marketing companies just don't understand.
I love Roger. Such a great way of thinking about the industry and how we can actually transform it. Now, I know that for him, that conference was so critical in someone saying YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world. And he transformed his business by creating YouTube videos. And now he's not only coaching other companies on how to do what he did, but he's seeing them use these platforms to attract the next generation of workers. So good. We only have 2 left. We are wrapping up now. Back to being an employer of choice, a place where people want to work and where they want to stay. There's a second C in the word choice. Competitive pay and stability. Now, I know what you're thinking. I know so many people that think this exact same thing. I already pay above the market. I already pay better than anyone else. We have the best benefits out there. And that might be true. And I know so many contractors that are still struggling with retaining people, with attracting great people, because there is more than just pay. And that's why I added stability to this one. There's a segment of the industry that is used to going and doing a prevailing wage job for a temporary period of time and then sitting at home waiting for the next job to come. And those pay amazingly well. But so many people are looking for stability. They have a family at home. They have bills to pay. They have dreams they want to accomplish. And if you can't provide that stability, it will be a problem. Now, I've interviewed 2 guests here that I want to share with you. The first one is Matt Gates. He's the president of Erickson Hall Construction. This is a recent episode 94. He said, when employees become co-owners, they think long-term and they stay committed. In fact, what they did was they transformed their business by doing an ESOP, an employee stock ownership plan. They brought the employees in and they said, we know that if you think like an owner and act like an owner, you will stay longer. So why don't we just make you owners? Profit sharing and ESOPs create lasting commitment and they reduce turnover because you attract the people that are thinking long-term and you give them a reason to stay long-term. Ryan Schmidt, a good friend of mine, an amazing CEO of Petticoat Schmidt. Oh, the things that that company has done just in the last couple of years that I've known Ryan and his team, it's incredible. He said, when employees understand how the company makes money and how they personally benefit from it, engagement skyrockets. I interviewed Ryan back in episode 21. Great episode, full of great nuggets. And they are a large contractor that is just making it happen and growing faster than the rest of the industry. And they have a reputation that puts them at the forefront of the industry. They are doing these things. You know, he talked about how the company makes money, transparency. Well, you can't have transparency if you don't have trust. I mean, think about how these things are connected. Transparency in pay structures, transparency in how the company makes money, transparency in how that career path works, and that team member can make money, that builds trust and stability, and they stick around longer. So here's the actionable tip. Evaluate your pay structure. Consider performance-based incentives to motivate employees. ESOP is a performance-based structure. I'm not talking about just that occasional bonus where you just say, thanks, we had a great quarter or a great year. Tie it to the performance of the individuals. A players want to be rewarded for being A players. And if you want them to play like an A plus player, reward them like an A plus player. All right, here's a quick throwback to Matt Gates. And he is going to share how the ESOP transformed their company's retention.
We became a ESOP in 2019, and that's an employee stock ownership program. The employees purchased 49% of the company in 19. We completed the sale of the last 51% in 2022. So Erickson Hall is 100% employee owned, and the employees are really buying in. Every year we've been an ESOP, we've had record revenues and record growth in both geographic, number of clients, and in volume. So it's exciting times, and it's wonderful to be part of it. And we're looking more for traits than actual experience. We're giving people the opportunity, if they're coming in really inexperienced, to grow into a position. So we're really big on training, and we're really big on retention by recognition of improvement and things like that. Our performance management process is every quarter. We do an annual, and then we do follow-ups for every quarter for the rest of the year, letting people know where they're at, what they can work on. And that engagement has really helped us retain people. We've grown tremendously. I always tease the guys, I'm not hiring for a job, I'm hiring for a career. And if you're a one and done, you don't need to apply. We're very deliberate in how we hire and what we're looking for. And it's the traits and the culture are the biggest fits. I can train you how to build. I can show you how to build. And our people can show and teach people how to build. So if you fit in culturally, we're going to find a spot for you.
I love how Matt talked about communicating these benefits to people, but more importantly, hiring for culture. It is the number one predictor. If they fit your culture, you can teach them how to do the work. It's that simple. All right. We're in the final stretch. Choice framework. How to become that employer where people want to work, they seek you out. And that employer where they want to stay. They turn away other opportunities, $1 more, $2 more an hour, better benefits, because they are so excited about where you're going and what's in it for them. Here's the final letter, E, an engaged workforce. We do not have a hiring problem in the trades. We have a retention problem in the trades. We can't keep people. And the number one reason we cannot keep people is because they are not engaged. If we have an engaged workforce, everything becomes so much easier. When you recognize your people, when you respect your people, when they know that you value them as a person, they will be more engaged. And all of that matters way more than a couple of benefits or a little bonus or something else. These men and women, they wake up every day and they go do amazing stuff. Makes them feel good. But if they don't have an employer that makes them feel good because they're treated with respect, because they're recognized for their performance, sometimes we even just have to recognize them when they're having a bad day and they push through it, saying thank you. That will engage your people better than any performance pay, bonus pay, high wages. Now, you have to be competitive, but it will do so much more. I interviewed Levi Torres of High Five Plumbing back at episode 62. Oh my gosh, I still remember. I get people calling me saying, hey, can I connect with Levi? He threw out his connection request at the end and said anybody could connect with him. It's amazing what they're doing over there. He does not have a hiring problem anymore. He's growing his own technicians and he's got his system built and he can predictably, reliably create brand new licensed techs every single year. He said a thriving culture attracts, retains, and motivates top tradespeople. It's that motivation. It's what I think so many contractors are missing. We do not have a motivated workforce. We think throwing more money at them is what will motivate them, and there's so much more to it than that. I interviewed Don Magruder, CEO at Romac Building Supply, episode 85, another recent one. He said engagement starts with respect. Make workers feel valued and they'll stay. When your people feel valued, they will not only stay, they will be more engaged. That means that they will be more productive. They will be more profitable. They will be safer. They will watch out for their teammate. So many things get easier when you have an engaged workforce. Companies with high engagement, they see better performance, lower turnover. You want to solve the labor crisis? Let's figure out how to really hold on to our people. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to implement a monthly recognition program to highlight employees' contributions. Now, you may have just gone to, I already do something where I give them gift cards or I give them money. No. I want you to just recognize them. This is not something where you give them a bonus because they did something well. Maybe that's part of your benefits plan, your competitive pay. I just want you to recognize your people for being amazing people, great team members. Get creative with this too. You know they're going through something personally and they push through it. Recognize them for that. We have a recognition problem in the industry. We think recognizing people is about giving them more money, and it's not. It's so much more than that. All right, I want to throw back to a clip from Levi back at episode 62, where he talked about building a mission-driven, engaged workforce. All right, check this out.
Our mission as a company is to come together as more than individuals to create a positive impact on our team, our clients, and our community, one high five at a time. But it's worded very purposely. We want to make an impact with our team first. If you can't make an impact with your team, then there's no way that your team will impact your clients. And if you can't impact your clients, then you can't impact your community. And so our main focus is impacting our team. How do we make our team better? How do we build them better? Every year, everybody who works at High Five Plumbing makes a vision board. So we sit down as a team, we cut pictures out of magazines, glue them on a board with due dates and stuff like that. And then every quarter we check back in to see where we're at with those things. The people on your team know that you want them to be great, so then they do great things for you.
I just love the way Levi thinks. Impact. So important. All right. That is the choice framework. That is a throwback to the last 99 episodes. And some of my favorite episodes, some of my favorite people, everyone we have on the show is contributing in some way, whether they own a contracting company or they are subject matter experts on an area or even bringing in new technology. Everyone that we have on this show is contributing to the trades in a meaningful way. I hope you got a lot out of this episode. Let me recap the choice framework, and then I want to share with you what's next. So we start with C, a clear vision, values, and purpose. We get everybody on the same page. And then we move to H, the high trust leadership. Not only us trusting our leaders, but our leaders and the rest of our team trusting us. And then we move to O, the opportunity for growth and career paths. Getting very clear on what people need to move to the next level. And when we do that, we have I, the industry leading growth and reputation. If we want to be industry leaders for growth, if we want to be industry leaders in reputation, we need our people to help us do it. Then we move to C, competitive pay and stability. This isn't about just $1 more an hour, paying the top of the market, but giving people a stable place to work, one that they know is invested in them personally. And then finally, E, the engaged workforce. When your workforce is engaged, so many things become so much easier. So here's the final action challenge. Now, I know there was a lot of homework for you in this episode. Here's the final challenge. If you want to be an employer of choice, a place where people seek you out, they want to work there, and they want to stay once they're a part of your team, start with one of these 6 areas and take action. I gave you a tip for each one. Take one of those and take action this week. If you have any questions about the choice framework, about how to do this, I want you to reach out to me personally. Connect with me on LinkedIn. Go to corematters.com. Contact us there. I want to help you with this. No sales pitch. I want to be there to support you. This is something that I've been working on for a long time. Being able to help people not only define what it means to be an employer of choice, but to actually give you the tools to make it happen. And with that, I want to share with you a little change that we're going to be making. We're still going to have the same great subject matter experts, contributors to the industry on the show. But I want to do some solo episodes for a little while. And this is the kickoff for that. Over the next couple of months, I will be releasing some solo episodes where I do a deep dive into each component of the choice framework. An episode designed specifically for giving you the tools and the strategies that you need to become an employer of choice. Thank you so much for being a part of this journey with me. Make sure you subscribe, share this episode. I know there are a lot of people that could use this information. And I just want to make the trades, I want to help with that reputation problem and make the trades cool again. I want it to be something where the next generation goes, I want to do that. So follow us on LinkedIn for more insights, anywhere you listen to podcasts, and join the conversation. What's working for you? What's not working for you? Let's start a conversation about this. I'm not going to be able to solve this problem by my own. So many other influencers are not solving this problem on their own. We have to solve it together. I also want to thank all the incredible guests I've had over the past 100 episodes. Here's to the next 100.
Ryan Englin here. Thank you so much for listening to Titans of the Trades. If you're a titan in the construction, manufacturing, or skilled trades industry and would like to be a guest on my show, please visit podcast.corematters.com. If you found value in this interview, would you share this episode on social media? Just do a quick screenshot on your phone and share it with a friend or post it on social. And if you know someone that would be a great guest, tag them on social media to let them know about the show and include the hashtag Titans of the Trades. I love seeing your posts and guest suggestions. We are regularly putting out new episodes and content. To make sure you don't miss any episodes, click the subscribe button. Your thumbs up, ratings, and reviews go a long way to help promote the show and get me one step closer to solving the labor crisis facing the industry. Want to know more about how we're doing that? Go to our website or follow me on LinkedIn. Thanks for listening.